Imagine a computer processor. You probably picture a green circuit board, cold metal and silicon chips, dead matter. Now erase that image. Imagine a processor made of living tissue, neurons, synapses, pulsing with biological activity. This isn't science fiction. It isn't a scene from The Matrix. Back in 2022, a lab in Australia took 800,000 brain cells grown from a mouse and a human, placed them in a petri dish, connected them to electrodes, and taught them to play the video game Pong. They didn't write code. They didn't use Python. The blob of cells learned to play the game simply by feeling the electrical feedback. Fast forward to December 2025. That experiment was just the beginning. We are currently standing on the edge of the biggest shift in computing history. We're moving from hardware to wetware. We're hitting the physical limits of silicon, and to build the next generation of superintelligence, scientists aren't looking at better chips, they're looking at us. Today on Info AI Pro, we're diving into Organoid Intelligence, the controversial, terrifying, and brilliant plan to build computers made of human brain cells. To understand why we're messing with biology, we first have to understand why our current technology is failing. For the last 50 years, we relied on Moore's Law, the idea that computer chips get twice as fast every 2 years. But in 2025, Moore's Law is effectively dead. We can't make transistors any smaller without quantum physics messing things up. But there's a bigger problem: energy. Training a model like GPT-5 or Gemini Ultra requires the same amount of electricity as a small city. We're building nuclear power plants just to run data centers. It is unsustainable. Now look at the human brain. Your brain is the most powerful computer in the known universe. It has 86 billion neurons. It can write poetry, solve math problems, and drive a car simultaneously. And it does all of that on just 20 watts of power. That's roughly the energy of a dim light bulb. Current supercomputers need megawatts to do what your brain does on a sandwich. This efficiency gap is what scientists are trying to close. So what exactly is a biological computer, or wetware? It starts with stem cells. Scientists take skin cells from a human donor, revert them to a stem cell state, and then encourage them to grow into neurons. Over a few weeks, these cells form tiny 3D structures called brain organoids. Think of them as mini brains, about the size of a pinhead. These organoids have structure. They have firing neurons. In the field of organoid intelligence, or OI, researchers place these mini-brains on a chip covered in microelectrodes. This is called a microelectrode array. The computer sends electrical signals into the organoid, the neurons process the data, and send a signal back as output. It's a literal cyborg system. In late 2025, labs are no longer just making them play simple games. They're testing them for one-shot learning. See, AI needs to see a cat 10,000 times to recognize a cat. A human brain needs to see it once. Wetware promises to bring that biological intuition into computing. The military interest and defense. This brings us to a sector that is very interested in this technology, and it's usually where the big funding comes from: the military. Why is the defense sector interested in wetware? Because of edge computing. If you have a drone flying in a remote area, you can't carry a massive supercomputer on it because of the battery weight. But a biological chip is incredibly light and uses almost no power. DARPA and other defense agencies are looking into whether biological processors could be the future of autonomous drones. A drone that thinks like a bird, reacts instantly to threats, and doesn't need to connect to the cloud. This sounds like a movie plot, but the strategic advantage of having living intelligence inside autonomous vehicles is massive. However, this also raises the stakes. We aren't just building chatbots anymore. We're potentially building biological weapons. But it's not all scary. There is a massive positive side to this. Before we use these chips to run computers, we'll use them to cure diseases.
Currently, if we want to test a drug for Alzheimer's or autism, we test it on mice, but a mouse brain is not a human brain. Drugs that work on mice often fail on humans. With Organoid Intelligence, we can grow a mini brain that has the specific genetic makeup of an Alzheimer's patient. Then we can test drugs on that digital twin to see exactly how the neurons react. In 2025, this is becoming the new standard for pharmaceutical testing. It means we could find cures for brain diseases without risking human lives, using these biological processors as test dummies. Now, the skeptics will say, but biology is slow. Signals in a wire travel at the speed of light. Signals in a nerve travel much slower. That is true, but biology makes up for it with parallel processing. A standard CPU does one thing at a time very fast. The brain does millions of things at once. This makes biological AI perfect for specific tasks that silicon struggles with, like pattern recognition in noisy data or adapting to new environments without retraining. In 2025, we're seeing the first prototypes of hybrid chips. Imagine a motherboard where the logic unit is silicon for math, but the processing unit is biological for learning. This isn't something that will replace your iPhone next year, but for massive data centers, this is the holy grail. If we can replace a room full of GPUs with a rack of bioprocessors kept alive in a nutrient solution, we solve the energy crisis overnight. But this brings us to the dark side, and this is the part that should make you uncomfortable. If we're growing brain cells and we're teaching them to process information, at what point do they become conscious? In the initial experiments, the brain cells learned to play Pong because they wanted to avoid the unpredictable noise of losing. They actually preferred the predictable order of winning. They had a preference. Does a preference imply a feeling? Currently, these organoids are very simple. They don't have sensory inputs like eyes or ears, but scientists are already talking about giving them inputs. If we build a biocomputer with 10 million neurons, which is roughly the brain of a frog, and we plug it into the internet, what are we creating? Are we creating a slave? If a biological AI makes a mistake, do we punish it with electrical signals? And if we turn the server off, are we committing murder? The European Union and ethicists are scrambling to define laws for biocomputing because our current definition of life does not cover a brain growing in a server rack. We have spent the last 50 years trying to make machines think like humans. It turns out the easiest way to do that was to put a piece of a human inside the machine. The line between born and made is blurring. As we step into 2026, we have to ask ourselves, we know we can build biological AI, but should we? I want to know your thoughts on this. If you could buy a computer that was faster, but you knew it contained living biological tissue, would you buy it, or is that too creepy for you? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on the technologies defining our future, make sure to subscribe to Info AI Pro. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.